for. So if you are someone who likes to play sports, you have done this before. You have decided at some point in your past to try out for a team. At our school, we have basketball teams and volleyball teams and badminton teams, and students need to sign up for the tryout, and then they need to try out for the team. So there's a couple verbs in there. So there's a piece of paper and they sign up for the tryout. Signing up doesn't mean you're on the team. And then they go to a tryout, the noun version, and they go to try out for the team. Maybe you were really smart in school. Maybe you're in school now, and there is some sort of, I'm trying to think, like chess club. You might have to try out for chess club. You have to go and play some games to show how good you are at it. So when you try out for something, it means you want to be on a team, and you go and show your skills, hoping that you will make the team. To warm up. So before you do something athletic, it's always good to warm up. Now there was some controversy last time I talked about warming up. I said you might do a little bit of running and stretching, and some people feel like you should stretch. Like these guys are stretching a bit. Before you do something athletic. Some people feel like you stretch afterward. Maybe we'll hear that in the comments below. But definitely, I would say that these guys have decided to warm up before playing a game. They're stretching out. Maybe they'll do some light running or some walking. Maybe they'll kick the ball around a bit to warm up, to get ready to play their game. And then on the opposite side, you have to cool down. You see this guy. I think in this picture he has finished running a race. And now he's going to walk a little bit to cool down. So when you do something athletic, play a sport, like when you go running, you get very warm. And when you're done, you don't want to just sit down. That's not good for you, for your body. You want to walk for a bit or stay on your feet, or maybe just do some stretching afterward to cool down, to relax, and to slowly come to a point where you're not. When I go for a walk, I don't come in the house and sit down right away. When I was running last summer, I don't stop running and just sit. I would still walk for another kilometer or after, just to cool down a little bit. To join in. This is kind of fun. I see that the parents have decided to join in. Maybe the kids say, hey, join in at playing these video games. I always like it when families play together. They play together. So imagining the parents is losing the games right now. I never play video games with my kids when they join in. I definitely don't do as well as I would have hoped. To join in, to do something with other people. When you let's say you two people at the park playing basketball, they might ask you to join in. They might say, hey, you want to play? Why don't you join us? Join in, let's play some basketball. Let's play some basketball. To roll out. Every year, car manufacturers will roll out their new cars. It doesn't have to be something that's unreal. So, by the way, you could say that the furniture companies roll out a bunch of new furniture this week. Or Jen might roll out some new products that we're going to sell in this summer. Maybe we'll sell potpourri. You know that's it? Potpourri is when you dry flowers petals, and then you sell it dry. People use it because it smells nice. I don't actually know lots about potpourri. But anyway, when you roll something out, it means you introduce something new. At school, we can roll out classes next year. When a business or organization decide to have new products or services, they will roll out new products. It's used a lot. Cars, definitely. Car manufacturers will roll out their new lines of cars, and they will start showing it to people. So we learned the phrase to run into in the first phrasal verbs lesson, I think number 1. And we talked about to bump into. I think we did. I'll have to go back to one. To bump into means the same thing. You can bump into people when you're at the grocery store. And it doesn't mean like actually drive your grocery cart into them. It can be I bumped into But it can
But
simply
can
mean
mean
to
to
meet.
meet.
I bumped into my sister yesterday. Or I don't like going to that store because I always bump into people I know and I don't like talking. That doesn't sound very nice, but
not very nice, but it could be a situation. When you bump into someone, it means you meet them when you weren't planning to meet them. You meet them,
I guess you could say
by accident, or it's just a fluke. You know that's
something
what
that
something's happened randomly to bump into someone.
Boy, I used a lot of words.
Used a lot of words.
Potpourri and fluke.
Potpourri and fluke.
Those are probably
new words for you. I should put them
in the chat
probably at some point.
Don't know how to spell potpourri.
Know how to spell potpourri.
To team up.
To team up.
So this is similar to join in, but has more of a like you're trying to get a task done well, so you need more people. So let's say that I'm teaching a class and another teacher is teaching the same thing. We must team up and teach the class together. Maybe your company builds houses and there's another company as finishing the last part of the building process. You might team up and build houses together. So when to team up with someone, it means to do things with them. I'm trying to think of another example. Let's say Jen's going to go sell flowers in Toronto at a really big market. And she might not have enough flowers. She might team up with another flower grower, and they might go together and sell flowers together. So anytime you join, anytime you work with someone, we would use the phrasal verb to team up. Yeah, I think the construction one is a good one. I know when I was younger, when I was younger, often team up with another construction company on larger projects. You would work together when you work for in the construction industry. To get into. So when you get into something, it means you start doing similar to take up. But I could get into cycling. I could get into learning how to make bread. Learning how to make sewing or fishing. Really get into. So when you get into something, it means that you decide you like it and you want to learn how to do more of it. And it's usually about hobbies. I guess really get into working out, or she's really getting into fishing, or he's really getting into art. So it means that you are learning something, usually a hobby, and trying to get really good at it. So a lot of you decided to get into learning English. And you might be wondering, why don't we just say he started learning English? Why don't we say he got into learning English? I don't know. It just sounds better. It's like come on in versus come in. Sometimes it just sounds better to say it one way over the other. To grow out of. So when I was younger. Sorry, I didn't bite my nails. I shouldn't give away information. When I was younger, I knew someone. When I was a kid, I knew someone who bit their nails a lot. But eventually they were able to grow out of it. When you grow out of something, it means that you stop doing a certain behavior as you get older. Okay? So sometimes people in their 18s are pretty wild. As teenagers, they do illegal things, but eventually they grow out of it. Or you hope they grow out of it. Parents and teachers often use this phrase when a student or when a kid they're doing something that they don't like. Tell them not to do it, but also hope that they grow out of it. When you grow out of something, it means you become more mature. You decided that whatever you're doing a good idea, you grow out of something. It's usually. I'm trying to think you can grow out of situations as well. But let's leave this as you get older. You're probably aware of a behavior you did as a kid that eventually you was able to grow out of. Always good when you can grow out of a behavior, especially if it's bad.